G'day everyone, how's it going? I hope you're all well. Today I'm going to be doing a VOD review for Luke. He sent me one of his matches on Discord and we're going to go through, we're going to have a look and we're going to give him some tips and feedback and hopefully you guys learn something as well. I do have a little bit of experience, especially on playing Gatlyn prior to this recent patch update.
I'm over there.
So again, we're just going to be watching the match and just trying to commentate through it and just try and point out a few things here and there that you can do a bit differently or a bit better. So Luke's team is actually this red one up here on the right. So you can see that they do have a ruby and a neon for a few heals, but other than that they have no flanks and they don't have a solid shield here. So really going to be having to look at this Jabali and the ruby, two really big shields on their team. And then you've got the long range Osas and the Gatlyn as well. So you really want to try and contest them and make sure you're out of their line of sight. So usually when you sit up here, you want to sit in this pocket so that you're at least exposed and you have that right hand peek up the top as well. You can hear the Osas here on the right hand side, and I believe I saw your Ruby go over there. So if he drops, or if any of their teammates drops, they have a really easy wrap to get behind you up here, so you always have to be aware of that. And depending on where the Judex goes, you'll have to be careful of people also coming on your right. So that's the only bad thing about sitting right in this middle here. You're exposed to a lot of places, and you can get flanked from either side. So depends on where you want to sit to set up the start of your match. So you first see a Jabali and a Gatlyn, sorry, the Ruby up the top here. Now Jabali looks like he's going to be going to point with no backup behind him. So you're probably going to be wanting to look up here for the Gatlyn because we want to find out where she is first. You also see the Gloria down the bottom, and right here, you actually do see the Gatlyn at the bottom with the Gloria. So 3 of them are down here, and the Osas has just peeked up here. Now, if this stun connects, which I think it did, you have a Gatlyn shooting you, you have a Ruby who has a line of sight, and the Osas. So literally all 5 of their teammates are right here. At this stage, this is why it's really good to get in this pocket here. You would be significantly less likely to get shot. However, you would probably, in this case, because you have no Jabali on your team or no shields here, you either want to rotate probably right or get some better positioning. If you rotate left, you just open for this Osas to get a pick. So I would recommend probably rotating right or waiting until these people drop or maybe one of your teammates gets a pick. Maybe like the Gloria or the Judex. Yeah, and you get dropped instantly. You almost take out the Gatlyn, which is really good. And I think one of your teammates manages to pick up that kill. So just be a little bit more covered, as you can see where the Judex is here. And that'll be better positioning for you. It is rough that you don't have shields, so you are going to have to play a little bit more passively. Another thing is, shooting actually does reduce your movement speed as well, so don't do that. Your Neon just got dropped, your Glory got dropped, and your Ruby got dropped. So I actually don't mind this positioning here. I like kind of being able to peek the backside of this payload, especially when they've already pushed it this far. You do have to be careful though of flanks coming in from this right door or them being above you or slash behind you as well.
Going maximum speed.
So that's perfect there. Right as you're about to get potentially into an engagement, you want to go into your Uber charge. Excellent. So we do get behind them, we do get one pick. I would prefer you to sit a little bit closer to this left wall here to have more of a right hand peek so that less of your body is exposed if they do see you coming or anything like that. Now the other thing is, if you actually hear, there's a Gatlyn somewhere on this right. They're either below or they're up above here. So after you get this pick, you're very likely to start getting shot from this Gatlyn on the other side. Nice, we take out the Osas as well. And as you can see, you have just continued to walk out. So I'm not sure where this Gatlyn is. But she's somewhere on your right. Yep. And there we go. Just as I said, this Gatlyn was actually sitting over here. So make sure you're aware of your surroundings. You can even just get out, get one pick, or even after you kill that Osas, just get out of Uber charge, back up. There's a health right at the bottom of bar if you need to. And then just rotate back around. If you can get 1 or 2 kills, that's awesome. Just try and stay alive is the main thing. Because as you can see, 3 of your teammates are respawning and 1 of them just died. So I dare say your Ruby's probably going to get dropped. Yep, and she does. So now your team's staggered and the other team just have everyone up. So the 2 kills you had didn't even really matter because your whole team got reset. Now, the good thing I like as he's coming back here is that right as he gets to this point, he does actually go into his Uber charge because you can almost guarantee you're always going to be fighting something right out of this doorway. You do, however, have to be careful of the Gatlyn and the Osas because they are able to see this line of sight before you get there. Because you're coming from higher ground, they can actually see your feet before you can see them at all or even shoot them. perfect, get the ruby. Again, this right hand peek would have been better, and that stun probably wouldn't have hit you between distance and the actual hitbox as well. So the right hand peeks is something that you want to do just a little bit more. Gatlyn can't do it as well as other characters, say like a Judex, a Skadi, or a Gloria, but again, block some of your body so you can't get as much damage, especially when you've got some huge hit scans on the other side. Perfect. So that was some good cover just there. Make sure you turn off your notifications as well. That ult definitely wasn't necessary. You already killed 2 of their teammates and it's just a Jabali. However, you can hear an Osas very close. I'd say it's probably top window right here. So you can either actually get behind him or you can just get positioning to try and take out this Jabali. Now, you can actually see the Gatlyn has come back here. Luckily enough, she did actually target your Ruby. So you want to take this right hand peek and try and contest the Gatlyn. Okay, you're kind of just waiting a while, not really doing too much. And as you can see, you actually left this right hand peek. You were open to the Gatlyn, the Osas, and the Ruby as well. So right hand peeks and probably contest that a little bit earlier. If you knew the Osas was up here before, you probably could have actually gone with your Ruby, gone behind him, taken him out. You can see one of your teammates is up there, so the Osas jumped out at just the right time. You can also use that window to kind of rain down on everyone else. So this will be a reset and they will probably get this checkpoint, which means you'll have a long way to run. So after you spawn on this side, typically it's good to go on this catwalk just up here. However, if you don't have a shield, you can get picked off a fair bit. As you can see, your Ruby switched to a Diggy, so that's a little bit rough. Now, yes, you can sit this far back, but the problem is the payload's still really far up here, so there's not even going to be anyone on this main road, so you don't have to be sitting this far back. The other thing is, even if you were people coming up road, this is a left-hand peek. So you get seen and spotted before you can even get shot. So if you want to rotate over this way, which is absolutely fine to do, to set up somewhere over this side of the map, or even up here in this window, which is really good once they get a bit further, you want to be rotating through the left side of your spawn as soon as you come in. So right here, you would head out this left-hand side first, especially since they can also see you cross and it just takes longer as well.
I'm over there.
So you were actually very lucky. There was an Osas over here, but as you can tell, you weren't even able to get any shots off for that. And you know the Osas is going to be up here on you as well. The second thing is you were just in Uber charge this whole time. So while you're in this mode, you're going very slow. You're not helping your teammates up here, and you're very likely to get picked off. So your teammates are just dropping one by one. Here, now we're finally able to get into the action. Again, you're really far back from any of the walls, so you're just a very easy target.
I'm over there.
I would be wanting to drop a little bit further back now that they've pushed this payload up as far as they have, and there's a Ruby very close to you and your teammate dropped. I would be wanting to play a bit further back, so kind of on that left hand side, which I said you should rotate first. And as you can see, there are people behind you as well. Yep, and drop. So I would now wanting to go somewhere on the left hand side, or if you want to go up the top, you can take the jump pad and try and get across the catwalk. But you've got to be really careful of getting picked off then. Your teammates are doing okay, but the problem is your Neon's not getting many heals, and you have no tank. So teammates aren't really helping too much, and your Diggy still hasn't switched off. Now, you did just see an enemy run across here. No doubt they'll probably be going for these two teammates here. So you can either jump up behind them, help your teammate, and try and get the kill. But regardless of what happens, you have to be aware of what's going to happen here. Now, the Uber charge is not too bad because you're about to get into the fight, or the second ability rather, but you need to be using that as soon as you're about to engage in the fight and not before, because you need to utilize that whole time. Now, you can actually sit back here a little further, right behind this barrier just here, and use that right hand peek. You get a pretty decent line there if you want to sit this far back, so just here on the left. Whereas here, you're very open. As you can see, that was already about 3 seconds before you get into a fight, and your ability is already about to drop. Not only that, but your positioning is about as open as you can be. Pretty sure there's a Ruby and a Jabali just here, and the shell's dead, but you have no idea where the Osas or the Gloria is, although I think the Gloria was the one that went up top. So the Osas just used his ability. You can see the Gloria peeking up here, and I think there's someone fighting here on the left, which I think might have been the Ruby. Yep, you're getting right hand peek from that Gloria. So at this point, I would absolutely get out of Ubercharge, probably rotate back on your left-hand side, get a bit better positioning, and then reset. Because your Judex was able to kill the Jabali, so there's actually no one pushing point right now.
Going maximum.
This pocket is not too bad. You do get that right-hand peek. However, it's not deep enough for you to drop back if someone else gets a peek on you. You are pretty exposed. And if you need to retreat from this position, you cannot jump up this. You have to come back or you have to go right, and then you're just exposing yourself more. So I would prefer either where this Gloria is, a few better wall peaks, or if you actually move further back where the stairs are and just above, it's a lot easier to retreat and we've got more cover there. As you can see now, they are on shell, so they have picked a flank and this is going to be really rough. So you have to make sure that you play a bit further back, and you have to be aware of how the enemy can get to you as well.
Approaching its destination.
I'm over there.
So that's really good. So right as he was about to get into the fight, he used his first ability because it does have a pretty long wind up. And then once that ability is ready to go and you're ready to fire, you're right there where you need to be. Now this is pretty rough. They are literally right on the doorstep of having that payload pushed. So it was a good thing that your teammates actually did jump on it. Now the one thing I will say though is you absolutely did not need to use your ability here. Now granted, it was kind of the last ditch effort, so maybe that's why you used it. However, especially since they have a shell, you really want to save that ability for when you get jumped, or if say the Osas or the Gloria are raining down on you. So definitely save that ability, especially if you have to jump on point because you have no teammates there.
Come.
Reason being is that this Jabali cannot attack you, and I have no idea where the rest of their team is, so you didn't even stay in your bubble as well. So as you can see, the teammates, or the enemy rather, are now starting to file in, so they were a bit staggered. So you either want to stay back here on this right hand peak, or take this time and get a bit better positioning on this right hand side. You can either sit up here, which is actually a really good spot for this Judex, or on this left hand side, or this left hand spot a bit further up here. So again, behind this barrier, get a right hand peak. And use this opportunity while there's no enemies coming to get out of your first ability and rotate. Especially if the enemy is on comms and they can say, oh, there's a Gatlyn really far back. Again, you're in your first ability this whole time. Not only does it take you longer to go there, but especially with an Osas on their team, you can just get picked off. But they have actually changed to Gatlyn now, so you have to be aware of where she is, and you either have to contest her or just simply be out of her line of sight, especially since your team does not have a tank. So this is a better positioning that I was talking about before. However, the Gloria is in the perfect position. They got that right hand peek, they're just peeking through. Either sit here or just on this ledge up here. Your alternative is to sit somewhere up here, but you have to be careful of your left flank. You can get flanked here way too easily, especially since you have 0 teammates on this left hand side. So that's one thing that a team can do. They can come out of this door, hit this jump pad, or go on bottom, and you can get flanked very easily. So I probably wouldn't recommend pushing your teammate out of the flank spot. Out of the right hand peak spot, but like I said before, way too easy to get flanked, and especially since I have a shell who pushed you before. So luckily your Neon's here to help. The shell ult, but you did get the kill, so very nice. But again, way too easy to get flanked. And here it's actually not too bad to push out as far, because the Ruby and the Jabali can't do anything to you. I think the Gatlyn is either further left or she's respawning and there's no shell. So getting in here, getting the Jabali kill will be really good, and then rotate out. I'd say you're sitting in your first ability for a little bit too long. You really need to only use that when you're about to get into a fight. Make sure your phone's charged as well. Very important.
You will escape.
Okay. So while that was happening, the Ruby has now pushed up and ulted you. Your teammates have left, and there's a Gatlyn already raining down. So, okay, luckily I think your teammate was able to take out that Ruby, and now someone's finally switched to a Jabali. So a better team comp here, definitely. So let's see if they can hold it out for the last little bit. Enemy has switched to a Kazuma, so you have to be aware of that flank now. No shell.
Maximum speed. Sorry, you're trapped.
So again, you can sit back here, but you need to sit behind this barrier, get that right hand peek. It's not as bad now though, because you do have a Jabali on point, so you can actually sit behind him and use his shield for cover. However, because they also have a Gatlyn, his shield will drop pretty quickly. It's probably at about just over half health gone. So you have to be aware of that. The Neon ulted you. That was a bit of a waste, but that's okay. Good, nice contest on that Gatlyn. She was distracted with your teammates. And there is a Kazuma sitting very far back. Nice kill. Okay, so that's 2 down. You've got a Ruby up here on your right, and you can see the Jabali and one other coming up through main. Nice kill, well done. Holding it down. So again, yes, wall peeks are very good, but if they have no long range to contest you, then you can peek out just that little bit to secure those kills. So that's very nice. Still have a Ruby here on the right. He's getting pretty held down there and pincered because you got the Gloria on your left. Yeah, as you can see, I think there was 1, maybe 2 people coming here on your left. So you have to be really careful of this short side, especially where your Gloria is, or they could simply go up top. So I would probably now sit a bit further back. Also make sure you sit behind your Jabali, even though you are behind payload. That was a nice kill on the Jabali. You did see, I think, one other enemy come here from the right, and you can hear and see a Wildling on your left. So be aware of your surroundings. I would probably say fall back a bit and get some more positioning. Not too bad of an ult if you think they're going to dive you, but again, at this stage, nothing's really happening, and you don't want to be using an ult just to maybe deter a tank. Drop the Kazuma, very nice. Wildling's still on your left. You can see shots coming in. You're lucky she's missing a shot, so you'd be dead. And as you can see here, the Jabali has managed to push up and ult you, and this is why if you were sitting further back, you would be able to get this kill and not die. Luckily your Jabali is still up though. The Neon's actually healing him, so your team's got a better comp. Your Gloria's doing a good job of staying on their side and getting some kills as well. Managing to hold this overtime. Jabali takes the ult. You've had 1 person drop from each team. Your team's pretty decently set. You've got the Jabali on point, the Neon with the heals, and the Judex with a bit of range. However, your Gloria did die on the left-hand side, but I don't think they're going to have enough time to touch. There's still someone on point, but nice kill on that Wildling, so their main damage is down. Nice, he actually managed to take out the Neon on point. So they've got 1 more on point, and then they've got a Gloria here as well. So yes, your team's actually doing a really good job of holding here. However, I would have used this opportunity, just like this Gloria did, to actually wrap on their left-hand side. Because as you can see, they're just sitting either on this payload or they're focused on your Jabali on this right-hand side. So rotate here on the left, get a right-hand peek, and then just rain down on them. Normally, you could say they can come here on the left. However, because it is overtime, they actually have to get to point as soon as possible, especially since they're staggered. So you could actually do a little bit of a flank on them, and that would get you in a much better position to get these kills. But you are doing a really good job, again, using this left-hand peek here, which is really strong. The Jabali is fallen. There you go. Well done. So overall, pretty good match. You were able to get a lot of kills, mostly in that second half when your team was doing a good job of holding. I'd say the main things to take away from this is going to be some of your right-hand peaks. Make sure you really know them. It's really good to play with, say, a set of earphones so you can actually hear exactly where the enemy is. Make sure you're not in your first ability for too long so that you can reposition when you need to. And probably just play a little bit further back. Make sure your phone's charged and make sure your notifications are off. So thanks for sending that in, Luke. I hope you learned a bit and I hope everyone else is watching. And if anyone else wants to send in a VOD for review, you can just send me a message on Discord, send me through the video link, and I'll go through and make a video. So take care, and I'll catch you guys next time.